Pray that you will be with our service members, both here and abroad. Keep them safe. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Kelly, could you do roll call?
Yes, sir. Mike Campbell.
Here.
Harley Buzzard. Here. Keith Austin.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Julia Pope. Here. Sean Crickman.
Here.
Joe Deere. Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Hayden Duncan. Rex Gordon.
Here.
Darrell Legg.
Here.
Weston O'Fire.
Honey.
Dora Petskowski.
Here.
Mary Baker Shaw.
Connie.
Theo Smith.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. Victoria Westwood. We have a quorum.
Awesome. If you had a chance to look at the minutes, do I have an approval?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Second. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, reports. First of all, who do we have with us today?
It's like Anna Knight, Chrissy Evo, Gary Boozer, Marshall Land, Michael Wilson.
Okay, so everybody we need is here? All right. Marcia, are you there? Marcia.
Marcia.
Yep,
Good
there
news.
she goes. Marcia, can you hear me? All right, what do you got for us, Marcia?
It's in your good.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions?
You got that question?
Does anybody have any questions? Joe Deere.
Hey Marcia, it's your favorite person. How are you?
Fine.
Hey, I know we talked about this the other day. I just didn't know. I had my first experience with Indian child welfare people, and I was wondering if they were going to work on some of their professionalism, the way they talk to people. Because my experience with them was not very pleasant. That's the way they answered the phone, and I figured if they're treating and talking to me like that, I could imagine how they're talking to everybody else. So I was wondering where we were with that.
I'll make sure that that's handled. I've talked to them but I'll get back with them, see. I'm sorry you had that experience.
And see, that's what I thought was sort of interesting is I was not in a child welfare issue going on, so I imagine the emotions of other people that are under some stress with that, if they were talked to a certain way, how they would react. So that's why I brought that up. But I appreciate it and thank you for getting that handled.
Mary Baker Shaw.
Hi, Marcia. Marcia, I was just curious, in any of the child care developmental centers, have there been any positive cases of COVID-19?
In the Child Development Center,
Yes, ma'am.
we've had a few cases. There's not as many as I anticipated, to tell you the truth, because the little ones they're just magnets for all kinds of diseases anyway, but most of them are with the teachers.
Most of them are with the teachers. Do we shut that program down whenever somebody tests positive? What are we doing? What's the protocol for that?
Our protocol is to do whatever that the helpline tells us to do. In some cases, most of the time we eat and we don't. Once when a child comes to the center, they're picked up outside by staff and brought in, and so the families don't come in, and then they stay in that designated room until it's time for them to leave. And so we just monitor each classroom and spray as necessary, but we follow the guidelines set forth by the helpline.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Good, Wes.
So we are still allowing our kids to go to CDC, but we just got to have an education committee about Sequoia High School. Just want to make that as a comment, nothing to you, Marcia, just a comment to the council on how we're handling education overall. One's different other than the others, so. All right, peace, appreciate it, Jerry.
EO?
That's your food distribution question, about time wait.
Consistency.
Yeah, I'm going to. Or you want to answer it?
You want, I can,
Okay. Well, Marcia, are you, who's over the food distribution centers that we have?
Yes.
Okay, I've had several complaints. I don't know about the other ones, but the J office, the complaint is that it's taken a long time for our elders to get waited on. I went to the J office 3 times last month, and one day there were some people there who'd been there for 3.5 hours. An hour and a half was pretty normal. And I talked to, when we did the groundbreaking Friday, I talked to 5 people, I believe, who had been there for an hour and a half. Is that the norm?
Yeah, we're just super busy. Are you talking about Jay?
Yes.
all of it.
Yeah, Jay is our
Well,
second busiest.
I actually, all of them, Marcia.
Well, all of them are busy because we're short-handed.
I see.
And when someone comes to get food, it's not just one person. Sometimes they bring their children, sometimes they bring their spouses. So to keep social distancing and everybody safe on both ends, staff and the families that come in there, we do the shopping for them.
Right.
So they are giving a shopping list, and if they would just have that ready when when they come and hand it to us, it seems like that's one of the things that's slowing it down is they forget it, like I would, and so we have to give them another one, or they can opt to take exactly what they get next month, but that slows down everything because of the processes that we need to do to keep everybody safe.
So they are told before they come back the next time to fill a form out before they get there? Is that what they're being told?
Yeah, there's the shopping list.
Well,
And if they would just fill it out and hand it to them and have it ready, that would speed it up a little bit.
okay. And also, in the protocol, is there any way that, I don't know if you'd want to do this, I don't know if it would cause too many problems, but is there a way to call ahead? Are they allowed to call ahead with an order? And to be there, say, hey, I'll be there at 2? I mean, is that allowed to call in?
Well, I don't know exactly about Jay, but I know that's another issue, is if they would come at their designated time.
Don't.
And I know that's a problem. Sometimes they have to wait until someone can bring them. They have to wait until they, can come in or around doctor's appointments. But that slows it down too because everybody seems to wait at 2 o'clock to come in, and then that slows everything down. So if they would let us know, that they can't come in early that morning, and we'll work with them any way we can.
Well, I think the deal is that your workers need to tell them that. They need to communicate with the people and let them know beforehand that, hey, this is what you need to do to make this process faster. But I guess the main concern was a lot of these elders will be in vehicles and the air conditioner doesn't work, and it's very hot outside. Of course, it's getting cooler now, but that was the major complaints. That is, they had no AC and they had to sit there for hours. That is a problem.
Okay, I'll check into it and all the sites and see if there's anything we can do. Now, no, I can't send up staff there because I can't make one area more short-staffed than they already are, but let me work on it a little bit, okay?
Okay, so when you're saying we're short-staffed, I mean, Obviously, we have people who are not there anymore and they used to be. It's not the matter that we're full staff, but just overwhelmed. We are short-staffed, right?
Right.
Okay. Has there been any attempts to hire any more people at those locations?
I'm sorry, it was, what did you say?
Are we trying to get full staff back at those locations?
Oh, I'm ready for it, and I think the other staff are too, but we have to wait till phase 3.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. Speaker just said we may not get to phase 3, but that doesn't help us in the meantime. I don't know. It may be, I mean, there may be more communication that could be done and give them the forms and say, hey, we need these when you come in filled out. I mean, if they would stress that, or maybe even if they could call in, I don't know, there's something, because that's an awful long time to wait.
I know it is, especially in the hot weather, I agree.
All right, Sean?
Oh, Mike, I was just gonna tell you, I was talking about it, maybe if Diane with day work, maybe, you know, because we've all done it, man, we can move that food car loads if they may want to look at something like that, get a few more hands, and, you know, 2, 3, 4 day workers. I mean, I know we've all done it, like I said. I mean, drive-through type deal, load them up, and maybe something to talk to Diane about. Marcia, what do you think?
Well, we're still, I can look into that, Sean, I'll be glad to. The problem is, you know, then you're going to take our staff away to train these people. And, you know, everything is set up at a certain way. And someone who's trained can go through there and get it fairly fast. But if you have to stop what you're doing to go show somebody where the green beans are, or they have to take time to walk out, I'm just not sure that would work, but we'll always look at something.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, other than having a list and going off the list and getting what's on the list and putting it in a shopping cart. I don't, you know, it sounds like you need more manpower or woman power. So, EO?
I think one of the problems is it's increased numbers, which we know that, but also because we're shorthanded, they have to shut down at noon hour. So they shut 15 minutes before to get people out of the store. Then they have a whole hour that nothing's done, and then everybody mobs them in the afternoon. And I think that's one of the big long waits. I don't know what we could do about that, but that's the biggest complaint I hear, that they make, if they get there at 11:30, they got to wait till 1 o'clock or so to get their groceries. So if we had a little more staff, I bet it would help. And then another thing is some of the staff that we have are overage, so they're staying home. That's what's putting us in a bind right there. So, but we're willing to work with you.
I can look into all that and get back with you.
Daryl?
Yeah, so Todd, I'm not really a computer genius, but what about doing like the online pickup like at Walmart, where we have our stuff on a screen and they go through there and this is what I select, and then maybe our folks can have it put together and wait till they pull up, we can just carry it out.
Well, and what I was going to offer is that I'll work with Marcia and her team on ways that we can try to work on this. So just so you know, the AIS system, which is the foundation of the inventory, AIS stands for Automated Inventory System. I'm putting on my IT hat again. And so that is a flat text file. So if you're talking database speak, that is like the oldest archaic infrastructure. We are the first tribe to be moving towards a relational database, and it's a little bit more intelligent and flexible. So for us to actually run a report for, let's say, all food pickup, because we send out automated phone calls every month at the end of the month to remind people you haven't picked up, they have to run 7 individual reports, one for each store, to collect that, and then we have to spend 30 to 40 minutes filtering and cleaning up all of that information just so that we can upload phone numbers to say, come pick up your distribution this month. So with that new system, it will allow a lot of flexibility for us, but we have to use the USDA system. We'll see if we can't figure out a way to connect to that so that we can do that shopping cart and then pre-select and build a shopping cart for those individuals when they elect to come in. Now, obviously, it's going to be for those that feel comfortable with the technology, but that's I'll see if there's ways that we can help to improve the process and help food distribution so that they're not carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Sounds good.
Anybody else? Thank you, Chief of Staff. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you.
Michael Lynn, are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can see you too.
All right, good deal. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. It's good to be here today. Just want to update you on a few of our construction projects that we've got going on. The Northeast Fort Gibson project probably about 60 to 70% completed. They are getting all of the ag base down and should begin paving here fairly soon. The Dwight Mission Road in Sequoia County is about 15 to 20% completed. White Oak Road in Craig County is one of the newer projects, about 5 to 10% completed. The Holbrook Community Building, roughly 80% complete. They're scheduled to begin paving on that this week. Middle School Road, we just finished a bridge and a box extension on that project, and now we have let the contract to overlay the road. They began paving today. That project has got a September 25th completion date, and as long as they stay hooked up, it looks like they will meet that date. There's a couple others, Moy Hollow Road, we in Adair County, we began acquiring right-of-way on that, and we do have a few parcels acquired, but we're working towards getting all of those acquired. Chimney Rock Hollow, located in Mays County, we've got a pre-bid meeting scheduled on that tomorrow here in the office at 10 o'clock. And Mr. Chair, just want to kind of brag on some of the other departments here within community services. You know, there's been a lot of talk today in the other meetings about the staff schedules. Staff are working roughly every other day, Team A, Team B type schedules. But even with that, we have, and this is not just community services, really every department within the nation has strived to continue to bring the services to our citizens. And that goes to show, I know you have copies of our reports there, but I just want to point out our water and sanitation department, just for the month that we reported on, 32 new water and septic installs, 17 water and septic repairs, several water analyses that were performed, close to 30 site evaluations, 23 soil tests, almost 50 food handlers trainings that were performed, 40 facility inspections, and a few indoor air quality investigations. Pam Bakke, over in her group, Community Youth and Adult Development and Adult Resident Services, that program primarily focuses on going out into the communities and working with adults and children. With all this going on, they've not been able to go to any schools, and they're not been able to go to any housing site just because of the COVID-19. So they've had to cancel everything they've done since basically March, but they have stayed hooked up. They work to kind of bring new activities to the table for everyone once they do get geared back up for everyone to do. But one thing that kind of touches me is they stay in contact with the adults and the youth that they have mentored in the past. They sent out last month 220 postcards just to let folks know that we're still thinking about them and we haven't forgotten about them, and that they're still in our minds and our hearts. So The apartments over in Southside, the Jollity Apartments, we've had several, it's a very small staff, first of all, but they have, during the pandemic, several apartments became vacant, and normally, under normal circumstances, as soon as an apartment becomes vacant, we have to go in and make repairs or rehabilitate it back to a rentable state. And that was difficult to do with the short staff and the staff working every other day, but they've gotten creative and they found ways to take care of those and get those apartments back rentable and back on the market again. So I just wanted to take a moment to brag on all of those, all of the departments for what they've done during this time. So, Mr. Chair, that is my report. And I have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Michael? Good report, Michael. Let's go ahead and move down to public comments on road issues. Does anybody have any? Sean?
Yeah, this is probably for the earlier discussion. Mr. Lynn, how about that hole in the road on Oak Ridge?
I anticipated you asking about that today. We're working on it from two different angles. The engineer for the county engineer for what they call the circuit engineering district is working on at least a temporary repair. It could end up being a permanent repair, as well as the consultant engineers that we have for our road project, the Cherokee Nation Road project that's been on the books, is also looking into it as well. So it's being worked on from two different angles. I don't have any solid answers for you at this point because they're still working on it. But as soon as we get some kind of response or some kind of repair, I will certainly get that information out to you.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? All right, good report. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you all.
All right, Gary Cooper, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, what do you got for us, Gary?
Good afternoon, everyone. I've got my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. I know that you're a little bit short on time, so I'll try to keep it short. I think a lot of y'all I have talked to and visited with on a number of different items, the emergencies and stuff that you've had come up. Our staff, I need to give it up to them. I mean, they've done an outstanding job as far as trying to keep on doing what we can do in this difficult time. And they've done an excellent job with it. We just keep on going and trying to do what we can do. We will go inside a unit to address an emergency. There's a lot of stuff that we can't do, but we try to do what we can and make sure that folks have water, have everything that they need, and we do what we can. So staff has been working really hard on that. We also have staff working we've got 162 college housing applications. They're working on going through and getting all of those either approved or whatever they need back. By next month, I'll have an updated list for you of all those that we were able to approve and off that program. And other than that, I think I'll probably just stop right there and leave it at that. If y'all have any questions, let me know. And of course, I know that most of y'all know how to get a hold of me if you have something that comes up in between now and the next meeting.
Does anybody got any questions for Gary? Gary, I just have a quick comment. It's my understanding that you're putting together an emergency crew for the weekends, possibly trying to get that going. That would be a great thing to do. I mean, I've talked to one of your workers in another town, and they said this is in the works. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Well, I can. It's just now getting started. I hope to have it rolled out within the next, hopefully by the end of the month, but that might be pushing it. With the help of the CRF, the Coronavirus Relief Fund, we are going to put together a project to do just what you talked about there. Have teams available, strategically placed throughout the nation that would allow us to fully stock trucks with about whatever they would need, whether it was plumbing, electrical, or heating and air stuff. So if someone's air conditioner goes out, hot water tank, or they have a plumbing leak, or a major electrical issue, we can work to respond to that, to at least get them by and get them covered, that we can get back to it. So we're just, I have the vehicles ordered. They should be here probably tomorrow. We're working on the tools and all of that stuff right now, just as soon as we can, and the manpower to do it. And it looks like we are going to be able to get that rolling pretty quick just because of the manpower we have. So once we get all that done, I'll get the information out to you, and it would be a number that would be available, between now and the end of the year. Any Cherokee Nation citizen living within the Cherokee Nation would call the number, and we could double check to make sure they're a citizen, and then be able to send them out. Now, beyond the end of this calendar year, then we would have to figure out a way to fund it beyond our rehab program. So, we may have to ask some income-related questions and things of that nature, past December 30th. But we'll get this off the ground and see how it goes. And it's something y'all have been asking for a long time, something we know that's been needed for a long time. We've never had a way to fund it before now, and so hope to come back to y'all next month and give you some good news about that program.
That is good news. Thank you for finally getting this implemented. I mean, it's been a long time coming. EO.
Yeah.
That's the best news I've heard today. I just want to thank you because you always answer your phone on Friday afternoons. Appreciate that.
I do. You can probably ask Sean Crittenden too. Sometimes at 10 o'clock at night. But now you all do have my number, and I'll take your calls whenever you call. I might not be able to do whatever you're asking of me, but we'll certainly try to work something.
Thank you.
Sean?
Yeah. I was gonna say, when you've been hiding this from me all my life, that's a big dadgum program. So, Mike had the inside track, yes. But, wow, thank you to whoever thought that up. And, I look forward to funding that after COVID. That is awesome thinking on the restoration, your part, and whoever else went on it. Trucks with the stuff that work on people's stuff with.
That's right.
Hey, quit hiding that stuff from me all my life.
I was sweating one of his workers, and that's what I found out.
That's good.
Anybody else have anything? Gary, thank you for the good news, and thanks for the good report, and have a good evening.
You bet. Thank you all. And of course, if you need anything, just give me a call.
All right, lastly, Anna Knight, are you? Yes, you are. How are you, Anna?
Hi, good afternoon. You do have a copy of my report. I would just mention that we included a fraud bulletin at the end of the report that you can share with your constituents. As usual, in a time of crisis, there are a lot of people that are trying to take advantage of people, particularly the elderly. So please feel free to share that. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anybody have any questions for Anna? Janice?
Anna,
Yes?
I have a question regarding financial counseling. I know that you do that for people wanting to enter the home buyer pipeline or the MAP program. I know it has extensive financial counseling, budgeting, that sort of thing. But I have run into some citizens that are not in that pipeline, but they need some help in that area. They need somebody to sit down with them and help them so that they're not always short every month. Is that available even though you're not in the homeowner's pipeline, or do you have something to offer those people?
We do. We still provide the same counseling to any citizen inside the, well, not just inside the jurisdiction, we just have to use a different set of funding if it's outside the jurisdiction. But we do offer that to any citizen that is in need of it. And if you can just refer them to me, I can make sure that one of the counselors that is closest to them can reach out to them and try to set up some appointments, virtual appointments or whatever. And we also do have that same type of program where we have staff at various, we have them in Claremore, no, we have them in Tahlequah, Tahlequah, J, but they work specifically with the Housing Authority residents. So we have staff that are dedicated to this as well.
Okay, so if someone were to be interested in, it's just household finance and budgeting type thing, what would they call that if they called your office?
If you can refer them directly to me and just say that they want some credit counseling or budget counseling, then
Okay.
I'll make sure a counselor gets in touch with them.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Me.
That's all I have, Counselor Shambaugh.
Anybody else? And a good report. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right, there's no old business, there's no new business, there's any announcements? Sean?
Well, Mike, real quick, Martin, I just had a text, the elder money, some of it's gonna roll out this week maybe. Now, does that include the 1,200?
No. So the initial payments that we'll be working on will be the $400. With that, there's no income requirements or anything like that. They just have to be an eligible citizen, over the age of 62. And so that will be because we want to expedite those and get as many payments out as we possibly can. So it'll just be the 400 initially. Human Services is still going back and validating the information, but then we'll begin to start making the utility assistance payments in the coming weeks.
Get decided on to go to the utility place?
Yeah, I think for the protection of those elders and making sure that we don't disrupt their income, that we make those payments directly to the utility. And what we're working on is making multiple payments to utility companies, whether it be gas or electric or water, if they're different providers. So that's what we're looking at, trying to make sure it gets done.
400 pretty quick, 1,200 to their utility.
Yep.
And in the meantime, they always have human services to fall back on until it's that.
Correct.
And light heat.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Harley.
I've got a question. I guess everybody else has observed it today, and this is just a comment. Last month, we had practically all of the directors come and report, or at least come to our committee meetings. This month, we had 0. Is there a conspiracy going on, not to report to the tribal council? And I don't want to put our chief of staff on the spot, but do you have any comments about it, Seth?
Well, a couple of reasons. We want to try and maintain safety, not only for, that's why we added the glass as referenced. These are similar to what we have across several offices around the Cherokee Nation. But that's the primary reason is trying to observe the safety and make sure everybody stays safe.
Well, I would last month we had several of them here, almost all of them. And some of them said, well, we want to be here in person to report. And this month we don't see anybody. And the reason I bring it up, I have a hard time understanding what they're saying. And I've talked to a couple of people in here and they said they have the same problems. If we could get the audio a little bit better, I would be okay with it. But I have a hard time hearing. I don't know about the rest of the committee's members, but I do. But, I respect, their safety too. But you've got 17, 16 people sitting here, and we come out to do our business, and we have executive directors and staff doing their business, so I don't know. I just want to put that out there for comment.
I hear you. Thank you.
Dr. Dalton?
I just second what Harley said. This is about the safest room you can come across. So I don't know if for the safety of these executive directors can more space apart, answer questions directly, eye contact. I just second what Harlan said.
Okay.
I don't get all this stuff.
I will tell you that every meeting that we have is either via Zoom or WebEx, whether it be with executive directors or project meetings or spin-offs or contractors. And I know it's frustrating and it's a challenge to get through because you got to play the game. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? And then somebody's talking for 30 seconds and they're muted the whole time. And so, it's been a little bit of a learning curve for all of us. And so I hear your comments and see what we can do.
Thank you, Doc.
You betcha.
And when we first started, when we were going to have the first council meeting, we were talking about how this room is one that we could control. And I know people aren't comfortable nowadays like they were, but we can control what goes on in this room better than others, and it gets disinfected very well. But even Speaker Byrd said, you could scoot your desk up a little closer and just be right up in the middle here. We could surround you where we could hear you better. But if we could get a little better speakers, just for the hearing, it is hard to hear. Especially, I don't know if they're pointed in different directions, but it seems like depending on where you sit, you hear better than or worse than others where they sit. So the acoustics that way are worse than this way.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. And that may be a solution to get better acoustics going that way. I don't know.
And honestly, it's if you look at the room setup, your microphones stop about where Councilors Legg and Petskowski are, and that's where the original setup was, and that's where the sound often stops as well. So I'll check with IT and see on the long term if we can reconfigure this space. We had a basic conversation about it early on, but it seems like these meetings turn around so quickly. When we talk about it, and then it's time to implement it, and it just rolls around so quick. But I'll put a concerted effort to see what we can do to fix that.
And I think Todd just answered it real, because I can hear Todd really well right here.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any hearing, so I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
And Shelley just said they are working on that problem with the speakers, so they're going to address it. Anybody else have any announcements?
Shelley, have the directors that are reporting and rules to be here in person.
The directors work from home.
Most of them were here last time, so I'd like to have them here if they can, or I might not acknowledge them.
That be so that will be. Is that the request for all meetings?
Just rule. I mean, right now I want to do rules. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we can have those implemented, the speaker, improvement of speakers by then. But the plan is to really utilize the space, have people in the lobby there, and have each director come and present one at a time. They don't need to be sitting in here, but they can be waiting out there like the waiting room.
I just have to make one request that Diane Kelly can't bring her entire staff in.
No. All we need is Diane. She's enough. She's a handful.
Okay. Only other announcement I have is there's a food distribution in Salina tomorrow evening starting at 5 p.m. till 6:30 or whenever we run out. So I need a motion.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second? We're done.
I want to